Hey everybody, hey chat, thanks for joining in on the stream today. And I see we've got Heggers and Difter and Brian here already, and a few more people as well watching. So I'm really pleased to see you all here. Thank you for coming in. This is a pretty late stream. I'd just very quickly, I mentioned on Tuesday that we'd be streaming Townsfolk Tussle today, but unfortunately Chris got called into work last minute and he couldn't make it. So I was going to do something solo, but as you know, I was playing, or you may not know, you might have missed it, but I played Earth, the Kickstarter game Earth with Paul earlier. And then after that, I've just kind of been glued to my television. I was working, but the point is that I'm sort of this stream here is was originally actually I was intending to do a stream right now at this time, um, but originally it was going to be sort of like an AMA for yeah. It's unfortunate that Chris couldn't join us this evening, Haggers, but not to worry. We'll get Chris back for more townsfolk tussle in due course. He can't get away that easily, even though he has absolutely no obligation to be here. I won't allow this. But but yeah, originally this was actually going to be sort of an AMA blog style thing that I was going to do for the Patreons, actually exclusive for the Patreons, but I wanted to make this public for several reasons, um, and just kind of open this up to because I've always said I don't want to put video content behind a paywall anyway, but also I was doing this live stream of Gaia Project on Tuesday, and Eddie, one of the patrons, was in chat and he was asking me about Sleeping Gods because he'd seen a copy of the Kickstarter edition for sale in his local area, and he was wondering whether or not he'd be into that and whether that would be worth picking up. So, um, I'm more than happy to sort of provide my thoughts on that kind of thing, but I also feel like that's a sort of a very personal thing for a board game demonstration. So I was thinking like maybe I'd do that going forward, is sort of go and have these discussions in a sort of a Patreon stream with the patrons and keep the live streams on the channel a bit more focused on stuff, because I realized that actually I don't really do any vlogging style stuff. I don't really do any AMAs or anything like that, and I would like to do that. I'd like to do a lot more. But also, like right now, I'm sort of producing some commissioned content and all kinds of stuff going on, keeping me very very busy. So it's nice to be able to do something like this, where we just get to sort of chat and we can catch up, and because like I do write these big Patreon updates every month, and I try to talk about the games I've been playing and what I've been thinking of them and all that kind of stuff. But those take a lot of time to produce, and I may not have time to do a big sort of breakdown. And that was kind of the intention of doing the Patreon video, and then the whole thing came out of control. And then while I was sort of working on all of this, working this out in my head, what happened was that Russia invaded the Ukraine, and it suddenly all felt very trivial. Um, Not that I would ever take any of this stuff anything less than with utmost professionalism. Of course, I take the support of the patrons very very seriously, and I feel the drive to provide them with valuable content very very keenly. So I really want to make sure that the content I'm providing is useful and informative and valuable, or if failing in all those all those things, entertaining at the very least. Um, but I'm a very sort of politically aware person, and I try to keep that side of myself generally divorced from the channel. I don't want to create schisms. I don't think that this is the arena in which to do it. I believe in engagement and discourse and discussion. I think that's all very important and very valuable. I don't think that a board game entertainment playthrough channel is the place to do it. And I don't want, ultimately, I know a lot of different kinds of people play board games, and I want everyone to feel welcome here. I don't want anyone to feel excluded. The idea that anyone would feel unwelcome here is awful to me. Of course, unless, and there's always a challenge here where you sort of say, well, what about people with horrible opinions? And that's kind of, I mean, that's in a way that's almost a discussion that I don't want to have here. I want people to just come and all of us to just enjoy this wonderful hobby that we all value and we all feel is, ultimately a bit of escapism. Um, and having said that, I think it would be very weird to continue to produce this board game content without actually mentioning at all what's currently going on in Europe. Um, and I don't think that that's necessarily a political thing. I think that for anyone, certainly around here, this is a pretty straightforward thing, um, and a horrifying thing. And I remember talking actually in a video probably about 3 or 4 years ago now when Ben and I played this War of Mine, and I was talking about, I'm not the best on history. Like I'm quite invested in politics, but I'm very much sort of a current affairs kind of person. I don't know a lot of history, and I tend to actually shy away from playing historical games on the channel, particularly sort of like serious war games, because I don't feel like I could do it justice or provide the insight. It's not that I'm not interested in those games. I have a few in my collection and a lot of friends that play them, and I'm very interested in playing them, and I love discovering more about history through them. But I don't know enough to, I think, be able to talk about it with the delicacy with which it deserves. And even this section of this video right now, I was trying to script because I was worried about talking about this without being able to do it justice, but I couldn't really figure out a way to phrase it or anything like that. So it is I talked about in that video before just how precarious everything is and how we should sort of how valuable and lucky we are, how valuable it is and how lucky we are to have the freedoms and luxuries that we have, and as a channel that focuses entirely on the um the propagation of a luxury hobby, uh albeit a wonderful hobby. It's a social hobby. I think it's a great thing. It brings people together and it gets them socializing. It teaches us a lot about ourselves, and I just think there's so many virtues to board gaming, and it's a wonderful thing. But it is ultimately a big luxury, and looking at the scenes from the Ukraine today, it's hard not to have your heart broken by what's going on there and sort of what's being taken away from them. And I don't want to be virtue signaling or anything like that. That's not my intention. I just wanted to sort of mention it because it just felt really, really odd to sort of crack on with like sort of opening up what are essentially toys. And don't get me wrong, I think being able to be in touch with our inner child and play with toys is also a very valuable uh, character trait. I don't think that there's something bad about that. So when I say toys, I don't mean it disparagingly, but it does feel very odd to be sitting here and sort of talking about toys and looking at them, even grown-up toys and adult toys, and not to acknowledge this situation. Or to, and I want the show to be entertaining, and sometimes I'm in a real mood to make it entertaining, and other times I'm doing something of a performance because it is a show, and I feel like I want to make it interesting and fun and enjoyable for you guys to watch, regardless of whether I'm feeling that way personally. And it would seem right now under these circumstances especially disingenuous. If it's a personal issue, I can compartmentalize that. I can deal with my own personal stuff, but this is of course an issue that you know currently is only tangentially affecting me. And I'm not really worried about my own personal situation at the moment at all. Um, Although, while I am an optimist, I'm also a pragmatist, and I'm not going to, pretend that there's not some kind of seriousness to this whole thing, um, even for us here in Britain. Um, but to to sort of put on that performance without first acknowledging that, for at least a while, it will be probably more or less that. It would seem odd to me. Um, and Yeah, Mark, and part of me feels, I'm not someone who's completely unaffected by personal tragedy. I don't want to talk about it too much here again, but I've always sort of dealt with strife and grief sort of by leaning into the things I really love and I really enjoy, and that's not to say that I don't confront it and I don't deal with it or talk about it. I think that's all very important. But I also think that that's sort of. But there's also, I think, to an extent, how do I put this? Um, there is sort of not safety. I don't know if safety is the right term, but sort of a sense of healing and safety that can come from a degree of normalcy, and we can rely on, to an extent, the more trivial things in our life to give us that sense of normalcy, to give us a sense of being grounded. And that's why I think it's so devastating. I mean, for so many reasons, for just to have your whole life upended, like what's currently happening to the in the Ukraine, and the tragedy that's happening there, just people's lives completely destroyed and totally inverted. It's they've not got any safe place to go to and to find comfort. And that's so upsetting. And they're not gonna they're but and it's anyway. So that's sort of, I think that's all I'm really going to say on it, because I don't think I can actually add anything more meaningful, other than to say, now I'm going to talk about toys and look at some toys, and hopefully we can all get a bit of respite, because for me, I don't know about you guys, for me it's been exhausting today. And I'm just a bystander at the moment, just a horrified onlooker. So just yeah, just I don't know. Maybe we'll see if there's something we can do in the future. I don't know, but we'll just have to keep keep a steady head and hope for the best. Like I said, I'm a pragmatic person, but also I'm an optimist. I think wouldn't want to choose to be anything. So that's it. Let's let's talk about some other stuff. So I got this thing here. Let's go and have a look at this. Ah, there we go. Now we can feel a bit more like we're chatting, I guess. I've got some boxes here that I received in the post today. That's quite exciting. Under normal circumstances, I'd be very, very excited. Yeah, if you guys have any feelings you want to share, actually, before I move on, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we need to really have a discussion about this necessarily. I'm sure you're all aware of what's going on, and you're all feeling equally sort of the the gravitas, and if you yeah, so um so let's I think with that in mind, let's move forward and just yeah, sharing some solidarity for the time being. um and it's I was very lucky, actually, that I'd scheduled this. I say scheduled, I mean, Paul had pulled me out of a hat to come and participate on his Earth live stream earlier, and so I got to play that with Paul and with with another patron of his, Dan. And yeah, I mean, but it was nice. You know, it reminded me of sort of the value of board games because for the I thought, you know, I'm going to be on Paul's channel. I'm going to be live on Paul's channel, and I'm going to bring the positive energy and the, you know, the upbeat humor that I can bring, and you know, it's, you know, and for a while everything seemed great while we focused on this little engine building game, and so, you know, that's, I think, what I'm trying to capture with the content on this channel moving forward for the time being. You know, I mean, that's what we tried to capture before, but before it didn't have this awful context. And so, yeah, there's not really much more I think we can say or do right now. As Toby, I'm somewhat in shock myself, and I don't really know what's going to happen, but we'll just have to do what we can. Wait and see. And you know, I was actually on I don't know if you guys saw the second stream that I've scheduled for this evening. I was actually on the fence about Elden Ring, the video game. I don't even know if that stream's going to work. Can I caveat it right now? I don't know if I'm going to be able to run this game and stream it at the same time, but I wasn't going to get it, actually. I don't have time for this kind of video game. Like, I've got so much work on, but I decided to go ahead and get it, and then I thought I'll live stream it, because if I'm going to play it, why not just live stream it anyway? But Chris is the Souls expert. Chris is the FromSoft expert. Big fan of Bloodborne and Dark Souls and all that stuff. I've played Demon Souls, like, you know, 10 years ago when it came out or whatever. And that's it. I've never played another FromSoft game. I've played the Bloodborne board game, you know. So this is probably gonna be a disaster. But I thought, you know, it's to an extent, yeah, burning laptop noises, exactly, Difter. To an extent, though, it's something we can do together. A little bit of escapism that is also very low maintenance for me at the moment. So I thought that might be a good idea. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, preemptive F for the stream later. Brian says, in our volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, we need more than ever a sense of inner grounding, starting with humility and empathy. Absolutely right, Brian. I couldn't agree more. But, well, we are where we are. But we can only do our best to create our own little safe havens where things are reliable and consistent, like my live streams. So with that in mind, I have some boxes that are, one arrived today. It's a big Kickstarter box, something I backed a long time ago, and the other I think might be some review stuff that Osprey Games sent me. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what they've included either, so I'm kind of excited to open that one up and have a look and see what's in there. And we can talk about stuff as well. Like, if you guys have any questions about Earth, it's like on fire on Kickstarter at the moment. That's probably a poor choice of words given the climate situation. But what I mean is it's super hot on Kickstarter right now. So if you want to talk about Earth, let's talk about Earth. If you want to, we could talk about games I played last week. Played some games yesterday that I'd happily talk about. So there's some stuff we could do while we sort of, well, I mean, I thought that this would be a real, I thought I'd have trouble filling the time. Look at that, it's almost 11 o'clock already. And I think I've scheduled Elden Ring for midnight. That's when it's supposed to unlock. I've got it all preloaded, but obviously I haven't been able to start the game. Hence my unsureness about whether the stream's even going to work. But Difter, it is age restricted, so if you need to do what you need to do to unlock the age restrictions, then that's your heads up. I don't know whether or not it should be age restricted, but I have seen that visceral from Bloodborne where he shoves his arm up a pig's behind. So I do think it probably will need to be age restricted. Um, it's a shame, really, that Chris is at work right now and he can't be here to look at it with us, because I'm sure he's very upset that he's being called into work on Elden Ring launch night. He's more excited for it, I think, than anyone else. But I understand that George R.R. Martin was also involved in writing it, so that's kind of also exciting to me. I mean, they've always been really good with lore and stuff in these games, is my understanding. So, um, hey Carter, by all means, we've covered all the depressing stuff, so now it's time to talk games and fun things. So, I mean, I don't know what George Martin would necessarily be adding by um, to the lore or anything like that, but I guess it can only be a good thing. I guess, I don't know. The game's getting pretty rave reviews and it's not come out yet, so. Um, Brian says, we've been playing a lot of Praga Kaput Regni the past few weeks. 2-player and 4. For each player playing, and 4 each player playing two-handed. Loving it. I'm glad you're loving it, Brian. I've not gotten to play Praga Kaput Regni nearly as much as I would like. And I would like to get it out more. I have played, and the patrons will be aware of this. I have played Messina. Gotta get the date wrong. 1347, 1547. His next one. I played Vladimir Suchi's next game, Messina Plague Time, and I did a write up on the Patreon updates for it, and I wasn't very impressed with it, sadly. So I'm much like Alexander Pfister. It seems like he comes out with a good one and then a bad one and then a good one and a bad. A hit and a miss, just on and off with alarming consistency. Eddie says gave Marvel Champions another try last night. Game was lots of fun. Yeah, Paul's a big fan of Marvel Champions as well. I've heard a lot of good things about it. So that's the FFG living card game where it's a cooperative game where each player has a deck that represents a Marvel hero and they take on Marvel villains. I haven't had a chance to play it, but it looks really neat. I remember I played, and I know this might upset some people actually, this statement, but I played, oh god, what's it called? The other cooperative superhero card-based game. The one from Greater Than Games. Heroes of the Multiverse. Is that what it's called? Yes. I played that a long time ago, and when it first came out, actually. I didn't much care for it. They did a big re-release of that recently, but I didn't really look at it because I didn't really like the original game when I played it. So I'm hoping maybe Marvel Champions is a bit more accessible, a bit lighter. Yeah, Sentinels, that's right. Sentinels of the Multiverse. Yeah. Oliver Robinson says, Claustrophobia. Looking back at a playthrough, thoughts now? Still something you'd enjoy? It looked fun. Yeah, Claustrophobia 1643 is a dungeon crawly. It's basically a 2-player game. It can be played with more. Technically, no, can it actually? I'm trying to remember. I don't think it can. I've only ever played it head-to-head as a 2-player game, with one player controlling the goodies and one player controlling the baddies. I suppose there's no reason why you couldn't divide up the good player side into a team system if you wanted to incorporate more players, but I don't think I don't think it's really designed for that, and it might not have the scope to the decisions. Yeah, it's definitely 2-player head-to-head. So I haven't played it in a while, but I did play it a bunch back when we filmed 2 series on it, actually. I think Ollie and I did a rematch where we swapped sides, didn't we? And we always wanted to go back and film more of it, and I have played it since then, and I do still really like it. As a head-to-head game, I think it's really, really good, and I really like the scope of the decision-making on both sides. I mean, I could get it out now, and we could sort of open the box and look at it, but I don't know if that would necessarily add much to this discussion. It might also take a lot of time. But Yeah, I've kept it in my collection. I don't think I'd get rid of it. Um, it is definitely, when it comes to sort of two-player head-to-head games, something of an extravagance because it's a huge box. It takes a while to set up. It's not a quick game. When you think about all these amazing two-player head-to-head games um, that are out there, it's kind of hard to justify the massive size and expense of Claustrophobia, but also there aren't that many massive, um, sort of big, overblown head-to-head adventure games. Sorry, head-to-head, like sort of miniature, like sort of. I mean, I guess like Super Fantasy Brawl or something like that. But that Super Fantasy Brawl feels very different. I mean, in a funny way, Claustrophobia almost feels much more like um, Space Hulk. Space Hulk, but instead of Space Marines and Turnids, aliens, it's paladins and demons. But its mechanisms are a lot more robust and interesting than Space Hulk. Space Hulk is a lot more sort of dice throwy and exciting. Eddie says I ended up backing Reckland Run as it looks like a very fun solo my Mad Max style game. Yeah, I mean that's is that Scott Almes? I feel like that's Scott Almes and his follow up to the space one he did, the space solo game. So I haven't played either of them, and I mean Scott Almes is a designer I find generally I'm not a big fan of. I find his games to be extremely sort of dry and robotic. But I've heard really good things about the first sort of iteration of those solo games. And actually, funnily enough, I would think that the complaint Warp's Edge, that's the one, the space one. So I feel like the issues I have with Scott Almes's design sort of style would actually largely be mitigated in a solo game because solo games kind of tend to feel like systems anyway. Um, it's sort of rare to get a solo game where it feels like organic, so to speak. And so yeah, I think people have been like people who are into solo gaming have been raving about Warp's Edge, and really it's been getting a lot of positive buzz. So I wouldn't be surprised if Reckland Run was also excellent. Um, I mean, having said that, I haven't played either of them, so I don't know for sure. But the only Scott Almes game I've owned a lot of the Tiny Epic games. I've sold them all. I have not played the only one that my buddy says is any good, which is Tiny Epic Galaxies. So I haven't played that one. It's apparently the best one, but all the other ones I've had and I've played, which is Tiny Epic Mechs, Tiny Epic Quest, Tiny Epic, the skirmishy one where you're jumping up and down on the hills. That's the official name for it. Tiny Epic skirmishy one where you're jumping up and down on the hills. That's the official name. And but I sold them all. I meant to, I meant to cover them on the channel, but sometimes I just need to get rid of stuff. Um, but I do still have all in of Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, and we do go back to that from time to time at the big conventions and play it. I do like it. It is definitely a guilty pleasure because it's quite a flawed game, and basically it's a convention game. So I'm storing in three large boxes, for a once a year, or in this case now, possibly never again, um, occasion. But I think Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea does the sort of feels. It's the most close to sort of feeling like Warcraft 3 or something like that, one of those classic fantasy RTSs. It's the closest to feeling like that out of any board game I've ever played, I think. Um, Eddie says he enjoyed Tiny Epic Quest and Galaxies. They were the only ones he really enjoyed. And Brad says, "I just got Tiny Epic Dungeons, my first Tiny Epic game." Well, I hope you really enjoy it, Brian. I haven't played that one, unless that's the Jumpy on Hills one that I forgot the name of. I don't think it is, because that wasn't about dungeons. That was about skirmishing, fantasy characters having a fight. And Eddie says, "Yeah, Tiny Epic Quest. I mean, I had Tiny Epic Quest. I didn't. I mean, it. I loved the aesthetic. It looked like Zelda, right? I mean, the whole thing was, I think, basically modeled on Zelda. It looked like a little Zelda adventure, but it just felt very mechanical and kind of soulless in the mechanisms, almost like it was relying on the art to bring the game character. Which is, I mean, I guess it's hard to do. Sort of. I mean, how does one bring out character in an adventure game? I can only sort of imagine with sort of like decks of cards to explore and things like that, and that's very hard to do in a tiny epic game. And maybe that's why they feel mechanical, because you can't have things like decks of cards or storybooks or anything like that. T. Carter says, "Did you end up backing ISS Vanguard?" I did not. I looked through all the updates, and I haven't finished Tainted Grail. I haven't finished Ether Fields. I didn't really care for the prototype of ISS Vanguard that we played, so I didn't back it. I mean, if they sent me a review copy, I'd happily play it, and I'd love to be proven wrong. Um, but unless I'd finished Tainted Grail and Etherfields, and I was hungry for more Awakened Realms adventure games, I wasn't going to spend the money on it. Eddie says he liked the Zelda look. Yep, that's fair. I mean, there's no wrong opinions. Uh, Eddie says I did back ISS Vanguard. Looks to be my jam. Yeah, well, I mean, I love all of that kind of stuff. I'm a big fan of the Ian M. Banks novels. I'm a big fan of Mass Effect. I'm a huge fan of all of that sort of sci-fi stuff. Oh, breaking news! Chris has dropped in for an update. I'm dropping in for my apologies. I wasn't available tonight. Coverage at work is a complete nightmare at the moment. Well, thanks for stopping by, Chris. And I don't know if you've seen what we're going to be doing in your absence, but we're going to be doing Elden Ring later. So, Chris says, in addition, the fire doors are being replaced in my building, and I spent the day sleeping on the sofa to be further away from the drilling and grinding that started. Yeah, it's rough when you don't get a good night's sleep. So our hearts, yeah, we're thinking of you, Chris. I hope you have a yeah, well, like I needed something simple to do, and it launches tonight. It just felt like serendipity. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna be terrible at it. We'll probably won't even make it through character creation, to be honest. I really enjoy character creation, so I'll probably just spend 2 hours doing that and then have to stop. Um, Billy says, "Can't wait. Been enjoying Horizon Forbidden West." Yeah, a lot of people are super into that right now. Yeah, apparently. Cause I don't think it's gonna run, buddy. I don't think the stream's actually gonna happen. I think I'm gonna try to run it, and the laptop's gonna explode. But oh, while you're here, actually, I meant to ask. I presume it's a controller game. I should play with a controller, right? Um, Chris says I have to wait till Tuesday till my night's end. Well, I won't spoil it for you. Don't worry. Um, Difter says, old outdated app no longer works. Wish me luck on the other options I found. Might work. Difter, we got our fingers crossed for you, buddy. Chris says you get no help from me. um, yeah, so, yeah, Horizon Forbidden West. I didn't play any of the... I mean, I was just saying earlier, Billy, that I don't really have time to play video games at the moment, really. I mean, not a single player game, campaign story game in any meaningful way. I bought a bunch of them that I wanted to play. I'm trying to think what the last one I bought was. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I bought anyway, I bought some, and they just sit there on my Steam library looking at me like, you know, sadly. But one day I will have more time for that kind of stuff. So at the moment, like, I play a lot of like goofy little games that I can play in like an hour online with friends, so or we play BGA or something like that. So I'm quite excited to check it out, actually. Like I said, this will be my only Souls game since, Demon Souls. So I didn't even finish that. Chris says keyboard and mouse all the way for third-person action game. Raised eyebrow. Well, everyone I've seen playing Bloodborne and things is using a controller. So I assume it's a controller thing. Um, yeah, so the you're being actively antagonistic now. This is definitely a controller thing then. Um, yeah, so anyway, like I said, I was just I sort of discussed this at the top of the episode anyway. But I do have these boxes. Shall we open a box? Tiff just says totally did not get a controller just for Dark Souls. You can play it with a keyboard. We'll play it with it. Shall we open a box and see? Should we see if what this mystery box is then? I think we should do that. I don't think I have chat on here, but we can add you guys in. Let me just add you to this screen. How do I do that? Is it this? Bam. There we go. Do. Use a Guitar Hero controller like a badass. Do you know, Nathan, I do have a bunch of those. I used to love Rock Band. I had like 2,000 songs on Rock Band, but that was a long time ago. A long time ago. And yeah, I haven't played Rock Band in a long time. Right. Not if you somehow got Return to the Dark Tower before me. I didn't get Return to the Dark Tower. I kind of regret it, but at the same time, I just had a really limited budget at the time, and I couldn't afford it. Yeah, Bonbon is currently asleep in the other room. Hager's keeping Leanne company. Do you know, it looks like someone actually hurt themselves opening this box. I'm just gonna take the, it's actually literally, smeared. Oop. My address coming off the box. But I don't know what this is. Here we go. So, but it says hotline on it. So if this is not actually board games and it's just something I ordered at some point, I apologize. Oh, I need the box cutter. Hold tight. Are you doing this to punish me for canceling this Townsfolk Tussle stream? No, Chris, I actually talked about it a bit at the top of the episode about why I'm sort of doing a video game and all of and that, but no, I would never do anything that cruel just to punish you. Of course not. That doesn't sound like me at all. Alright, we got some scissors here. We're gonna give the scissors a try. It isn't a horror game. Yeah, I know it's not a horror game. Are you sure you want to open this publicly? No, I'm not sure, but... What is so upsetting is I can't even watch because of spoilers. I mean, if it even runs long enough and I get far enough to spoil anything... Yeah, give me a drum roll. Ba, 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 ba. It's like the Hoover my girlfriend ordered or something. Can you imagine? That'd be too funny. Or is it a board game? Ba, 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 ba. It is! It's the Osprey Games care package! Oh, exciting! Yes, this. I asked for this because I've got the first one. The main game, and I never got it to the table, and I wanted to play it. The Wildlands Judge Dredd one. I heard very mixed things about it, but Nathan, I was gonna get the actual box cutter, and then I opted for scissors instead because I thought it might be dangerous. But this adds a solo mode, so I thought it'd be really neat to try out the Judge Dredd solo mode live on stream at some point. So that was really neat. I don't really know a whole lot about Judge Dredd, if I'm honest, but I watched the Sylvester Stallone movie, and I used to have some of the comics around when I was a kid, and I always liked the sort of the world of it, even like this sort of pulpy, post-apocalyptic, punky thing. Even though I really don't know a whole lot about it, I haven't even seen the Carl Urban movie, but I should probably watch it. But it's cool. So I'm excited for that. They did send Undaunted. That's exciting. I wasn't sure if they would send this. So that's cool. We could try this. This has solo mode too. Why are unboxings so satisfying? Well, I don't usually do them, Carter, because of the I don't know, it doesn't feel like valuable content, but you know what? It's maybe this is the joy we need. Ooh. A letter. Unfortunately, due to a temporary issue, it's not been possible to include a copy of the invoice with your current consignment. Oh, I don't know if I care about that. Oh, look, more Undaunted. That's fun. Undaunted North Africa. And Brian Boru. That's fun. I'm really keen to check this out. Pierre Sylvester is actually pretty good. I mean, I've not had a chance to play much of his games, but the ones I have seen are good and quite well loved. Hey, morning, Ralph. The Urban Dread movie is really cool. I've heard that, Eddie. I've heard that. Oh, well, this is very, very kind of Osprey Games. So, I'm always extremely grateful to publishers that send out review copies when I promise absolutely nothing. So, um, I mean, I think I don't get me started on that topic, by the way, because that'll be a whole thing. But it's very, very difficult, particularly for like little independent operations like mine, to run without. Chris says it's Baru. Emphasize the second syllable. I want to play that. Yes. So, and Hager says reinforcement doesn't work without a copy of Normandy or North Africa. Oh, interesting. So there you go. They had to send out two. So so yeah, just to round off that thought, it's it's always really really nice when companies send out review copies and support board game media. I think it's a little catch-22 sort of situation in particular to our medium, because board games are of course expensive to produce and to ship around and all that kind of stuff. Um, it's not like video games where you give out a Steam key if someone wants a review copy. Um, there's all the same I say all the same. I mean, I think there's an amount of work that goes into producing a board game beyond before it's printed, and then you have to print it and ship it. Unlike a video game where all of the sort of the work goes in up front, and then when you can distribute it essentially for free these days. I mean, if you want to print physical copies, of course you can, and a lot of places still do that. But you can also distribute them without any sort of overheads if you want to digitally, which is not possible with board games. So, it's often the case that like board game publishers and things expect something when they send you a review copy, which I think is not it's not unreasonable, because there's an expense attached to it, particularly in this industry where the overheads of these companies are very fine lines. But it's also, I think, really damaging for the reviewers, because um that sort of expectation of producing something changes the nature of the relationship, and it's hard to sort of then be completely impartial and sort of divorced from this concept that you owe them something in some way. And so it's I mean, obviously when you're a large organization who has a lot of followers and a lot of influence, what you get what you give the publisher in terms of exposure can be well worth the price of shipping you a game. But it's very, very hard to get there, and there's very few people like that in this business of board game reviews. And for the most part, people are just indie characters who are just big fans of the hobby. So um, this is an extremely generous batch of review games, and I'm very grateful to Osprey Games for sending them. And I promise nothing. Right. Don't emphasize the second. De-emphasize the first, I guess. Brian Baru. Brian Baru. Is that correct? Their games are actually real. It does. It shows a lot of integrity, Carter. It really does. And I'm just very fortunate to get this kind of stuff through. So the multiverse is falling apart, and realities are being torn asunder. The world might have been ending, but with the arrival of dark judges, it is truly doomed. Replace one of your existing teams with some of the fiercest entities in the galaxy, and crush all that stand before you. Or face the ultimate judgment in a new solo game that pits you against the dark judges. Neat. That's cool. Does anyone know any other games by Pierre Sylvester that they really, really like? I mean, he did The King is Dead 2nd edition as well, right? That's what he did that one, right? Which is also an Osprey Games game. But he did some other stuff as well. But my mind is blank. It's gone a blank. Eddie says, I may have to get that game just so I can play with the Dark Judges. Yeah, I mean, Wildlands is something that I was sort of intrigued by because Martin Wallace, of course, is a well-known designer, largely known for his crunchy economic games. So to see him do some kind of like sort of skirmish game is interesting. But, you know, I wasn't particularly interested in his sort of random fantasy theme of Wildlands. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like fantasy and all that kind of stuff. But Judge Dredd is a cool theme that sort of I thought could make the system sort of more engaging. But it's just been sitting on the review shelf for a long time, so I'm really keen to finally get it to the table and check this out. 4 ink washed miniatures. Oh, that's cool. Ink wash. 5 oversized cards. Neat. And T. Carter says Brian Boru is such a strange name. Is there a reason? I mean, I guess he's a historical person from history. It says High King of Ireland. I mean, it's not like they just gave the game a name. Can you imagine if they were like, "This is Eric Lang's new game. It's called Jeff Smith." Jeff Smith the game. It says here, Ireland is awash with would-be kings, power-hungry pretenders, and self-professed rulers. The provinces are in disarray, and the common folk are paying the price. The land needs a leader. In Brian Baru, you will strive to unite Ireland under your domain, securing control through might, cunning, and matrimony. Join forces to fend off Viking invaders, build monasteries to extend your influence, and gather support in towns and villages throughout the land. To become High King of all Ireland, you will need to navigate a web of shifting alliances, outmaneuver your enemies, and grab history by the reins. Thank you, moderators. Stuart says, I played and lost at that game a few weeks ago. Well, it says here it's a 3 to 5 player game, so this will have to be one I play down the club. I won't be playing it here. But we can open it. Yeah. Do we get a game box opening too? Yeah, we can, T. Carter. We can have a look inside and see what's going on. I mean, I know that the Osprey Games productions are really, really nice. Generally speaking, in my experience, the components and everything has always been very sort of lush and attractive. Please read it again whilst river dancing. Okay, well, step one, learn to river dance. Might take a while. I don't know if we'll have time for that during the stream here. Yeah, so let's have a look and see what's in the box. Can we get this camera to have a good look at it? There. Is this gonna be too short? Oh. Thoughts. Solutions. Now it's too high. I guess we can zoom in with the top camera as well, but it might be nice to actually, I don't know how to look here, like this. Now it's just looking at its own feet. Ah, live streaming board games is hard, you guys. Especially impromptu unboxings when you don't even know it's in the box. Oh, the Vikings look mad. You use a Blackmagic switcher / control. Brian, I use a Stream Deck. And honestly, I could not run this operation without a Stream Deck. Zelda chess music. Oh, I do like it when people do this. It's so unnecessary to like print a pattern inside the box, but it's just so pleasing, isn't it? Like when it's not gray cardboard, but it's actually, oh, it's so pleasing. Completely unnecessary, but just so nice. English rulebook. How thick is it though? Not too thick. Good. Oh, Chris, how do I say this word? Oh, this is like the same word that they have in Tainted Grail. But I played that with Michael, and I think we probably just butchered it. Is it Kaunacht? Kaunacht? Could that be it? That's definitely it. 100% accurate. Definitely correct. And I got a bonus German rulebook as well. Ooh, punch board. Con Ocht. Well, they've done a good job here of printing well within the bleed area and getting everything nice and consistent. Overall, a good printing. Well done, Osbrigget. Oh, look. It's shiny. That's fun. That's sort of pleasing when there's like, what do you call this? Like laser high. No, they call it. What do they call it when they highlight it like this? Can't remember. It's really nice. Oh, in Tainted Grail, it was adapted to Kaunacht, which has an extra syllable. Ku-a-nacht. Okay. Connacht is the western province of Ireland. That's extremely pleasing. I don't know what we do with it, but it's very pleasing. You see the you can sort of see the sheen. Very pretty, very pleased. Yeah, they do a really nice job with their productions. So we've got a bunch of tokens, wooden tokens. I guess these are player pieces of some description. Sorry for the bag opening noises. And cards. How am I going to get these open? A UV spot finish. That's what they call it, Stuart. Thank you. That is exactly right. Well, well, well remembered. Ryan says, Gaelic's like Welsh. I can never predict the correct pronunciation. I mean, I can't even pronounce English right. So, as usual, we can look at... So we got some player aids here. Half in English and half in German. We can, of course, look at half the card here on the green screen. That's what half the card looks like. Is it yeah, it's doing okay. But maybe it'll look better over here. Let's see what we can do this one. Drafting. Let's have a look at the artwork then. What have we got going on here? Focus. Please. It's not doing too bad today. Treasure. I like this art. It's nice and sort of... It looks quite like classical, but also... Oh, come on. You can do it, buddy. What do you think I want you to look at? Deep joys of... There we go. Deep joys of these cameras. Is this Brian Boru? Yeah, wait. Do we have to fight over who gets to be Brian Boru? Well, that's just straight up better than the 1X card. Oh, look at that. Historically accurate Vikings, not a horn in sight. Wait, was there a horn on the front of the box? Nope. Historically accurate Viking helmets all around. Aha! My shield card counters your bucket of weapons card. That's how this game works, right? Yeah, where's the Irish Nope card? Geist. Is that what it was called? I think that's what it was. Oh, very peaceful now. We've headed into the villages. We had the Red War cards. There he is! It's Brian Boru, everyone! Yeah, no horny Vikings here, exactly. Just Regular old people hanging out. It says when Brian Boru told the whole village that the Vikings were coming, and this one guy standing right at the front was like, "There's no such thing as Vikings. You're crazy, Brian." Ah, Estrid, Princess of Estrid, Princess of Denmark. She's the secret leader of the Vikings. I'm making this up. I'm not good at history. Well, I should know who she is. Ah, yes, Bridget. Oh, I don't. O'Connell? I don't want to butcher the pronunciation. Um, this is the guy from One Direction, right? That's his. That's right, isn't it? Oh no. This is just a escalation in things Mike doesn't want to pronounce because he's gonna get it wrong. Yep. Well, this is Niall. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, this is the problem with this game. Words are unpronounceable, completely unplayable. Aoife. I guess Aoife was the one after Niall. That's this one then. That's Aoife. Oh my god. I needed you here for this unboxing, Chris. Adon. Well, that's Cormac. I can do Cormac. Give me a nice easy one there. These are names you find in London. Oh, and here's Danish versions of the cards. Not Danish, a German version of the card. They only have one German card. Or Muck. This is the stealth attack card. It doesn't have a name because it's so stealthy. I have to remember to vote for this game just to have Mike read out more of these words. Yeah, just so Chris can spend the whole game correcting my pronunciation. It's the long ship. More long ships. And lots of Vikings charging. That's fun. Oh, I'm now excited to check this out. I mean, I was already excited for it, but now I'm especially excited for it. It's a nice little box as well. Like, I hope that it's really good. Although, I mean, it does have the cardinal sin of raised edges, but that's fine. I guess given the board size, they couldn't make it thinner. I mean, they couldn't have made it narrower, so they would have just had to make it thinner. But overall, it's not that bad. It's a very small box. What do you guys want to look at next? Chris says, I feel you must have met an Aoife in your life. I've never met an Aoife, actually. I guess I just don't know enough Irish people. I need to fix this. Board Game Dungeon says Cloudspire. Cloudspire? Why? I sold Cloudspire. Mike, I'd like to learn what you think of the trick-taking plus area control combination of Brian Boru. I mean, I haven't played it yet, so I can't tell you, but I like area control a lot. Trick-taking, I think, is a really interesting mechanism. I generally like trick-taking games. I've probably not... Board Game Dungeon's just trolling me because I know how much you love it. But I, Cloudspire's not. I mean, it doesn't work as a competitive game. Like I don't. I mean, I guess it does. You can get to the point where it works, but by that point, you've put so much work into getting there. I don't know if it's actually worth it. You could have spent that time just playing like more better games. Um, Chris says we must play Brian Boru. Yeah, we should definitely do that. Um, and Brian, yes, in summary, yes, sorry, he says sorry. I meant after you play it. Yes. Um, but yeah, trick taking is an interesting mechanism. I've not played a trick taking area control combo game before. I don't know if there are many. Um, it could be a whole undiscovered genre that I've not discovered yet, or it could be that Brian Boru is the first of its kind. In any case, I'm excited to discover this new thing, and this is a nice production. And T. Carter says, let's look at the ink washed minis. Yes, let's do it. Let's open Judge Dredd and the Dark Judge's box. Chris says, I've sent you a pronunciation guide. Thank you. It's very kind of you. I remember when I was a kid and I first moved to the UK from Canada, and I joined an English class with a lot of Siobhans and Chloes, and I got very confused for the first few days, but it was very quickly corrected. Board Game Dungeon says, what Kickstarter game are you most looking forward to receiving? Oh, I feel like I answered this recently. No, maybe I'm thinking of your most excited, the game you're most excited for from last year. I mean, I'll tell you what I have got sitting right over there, which have just arrived, is actually, and another wonderful thing. I got a review copy of Euthia. So I don't know if you guys, they've got a new Kickstarter coming actually, and they were sending out some review copies, and I sort of, I think have I told this story on stream. I feel like I've already told this story on stream, where basically they were offering to sort of do make a kind of agreement where they were going to give the game to like more independent board game channels and sort of share it around. And I just kind of absently reached out to the guy who was doing it, and I said, I think it's really great that you're organizing this, because they're like the Euthia guys, Die A Games. They're obviously like super indie as well. Like they're not a big publisher or anything like that. I think that they've just got Euthia. It's just this fantasy game that they sort of put out. One of their team designed it. I presume they're a company that was set up by the designer to sort of publish their game and distribute it. And yeah, I reached out to them to just say that I think it was really cool that they were sort of looking for ways to help out independent board game media content creators, and I thought that was really, really cool. And I think they thought that I was interested in getting in on the scheme. And don't get me wrong, Euthia is a game I really eyeballed when it was on Kickstarter. I was really keen to try it out. I'd heard it's, I mean, not mechanically like Mage Knight, but sort of similar in the sense that you're wizards or heroes, fantasy heroes, wandering around a fantasy world, exploring it and discovering things, and you can play it solo or co-op or versus. And I was just kind of like, yeah, that sounds like my jam. I love that format. I love Mage Knight, and not just for the great mechanisms, but also because of the theme. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'm almost rather have heroes that are not already super powerful Mage Knights, but that's fine. Like that's a sort of a minor gripe about an otherwise excellent game. But anyway, the point is, I think he thought that I was sort of interested in getting in on the scheme, and he came back and he said, "Well, you're hardly a small-time content creator, but I'll see if I can find you a review copy." And I thought about going back and saying like, "No, that's okay. I just wanted to say that I liked what you were doing. I thought it was very cool." But instead, my desire to play exciting board games got the better of me, and I just said, "Oh yeah, cool, that would be great." And they sent it, and I can't believe it. And it's such a nice copy. Yeah, I'll go get it in a minute, T. Carter. First, I'm going to show these Judge Dredd miniatures. But now I definitely have to play it, and I'm definitely intending to. I just because I really want to play it. I just need to learn the rules. It's quite a large thing, but I'll definitely play it. Certainly around the time of their new Kickstarter, so we can sort of get an understanding. You know, we can do a bit like sort of a what we did with what was it I did recently where I played it solo. I've been thinking about doing it with Tang Garden as well, actually, because the new Kickstarter campaign for that is live, and I have the all-in Tang Garden from the first campaign, so I thought I should play that, and um, we could have a talk about it, and whether or not we should get the new Kickstarter. Judge Death. Bum 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 bum. Anyway, that was a massive long tangent from what Kickstarter are you most looking forward to. And I started talking about a Kickstarter that I'd recently received. Um, actually, these usually show up pretty well on the green screen, so let's give that a shot. This is Judge Death. Yeah. I like how they've sort of captured the really pulpy art style with this miniature. Um, are these the four horsemen of the apocalypse as Judge Dredd characters? I don't know enough about Judge Dredd. I just kind of really like the aesthetic of it and stuff like that. And the Chaos AD comics. I never even really read them enough to follow any of the stories or anything. Um, I did read them. Brian Rao says, yes, Tengarden had a good time with it. Need to try the ghost stories. I only played it one time, Brian, and we thought it was a gorgeous game, but a little actually inhibited with its own production value. Like some of the production in it, stuff in it was like too much, um, and actually got in the way of playing the game. Um, and we thought the game was okay, but it was just one play. Um, So there is a solo mode with Ghost Stories, I think. So I'd definitely like to give that a shot, and then we can talk about it in a bit more detail. I'd like to play it again multiplayer as well before the stream maybe, but I don't think I'll have a chance for that. I like this guy. Like I mean, I guess this flaming skull guy here. I guess he's war. I mean, if these are the four horsemen of the apocalypse, right? That's going to be war. Um, I guess Skin and Bones guy is probably pestilence. No, wait, what are the four horsemen? It's death, war, famine. So he's got to be famine. Actually, no, he's probably famine. I mean, both of these guys look sort of really malnourished, so I can't tell which one of these two is famine. This guy's got to be death, though, right? Oh no, it doesn't. It says, am I just making this up? Are they not even the four horsemen of the apocalypse? But don't damage the cards. So that's Judge Death. And he's really happy to see you here. Judge Mortis. Okay, so they're not the four horsemen of the apocalypse. I just made that up. Maybe they're all death, actually, because Mortis and Judge Death. Judge Fear. Oh, he's cool. That's cool. I was like the Blackguard from D&D, so give me like a dark, evil-looking knight. Judge Fire. Yeah, he's not war, he's just straight up fire. Cool. I'm excited to try this out, for sure. Very cool. Where did they come from? Uh-oh. Nope. There we go. Did that satisfy your desire, Eddie, to see the see these characters? Yes, actually, this is also another game from Osprey, Judge Dredd, Cursed Earth. Interestingly, it's also a Pierre Sylvester game, although I've heard that it's not all that good. But maybe if you're really into Judge Dredd, you might get something out of it. There we go. Oh. Okay, I don't think we need to keep that. I think it's like the Lost Expedition and Insanely Tough, says Haggers. Oh, the Cursed Earth. So we now interrupt this Osprey Games unboxing to have a quick look at Euthia, which I was gonna unbox on stream, but you know the thing is, like, I don't generally do unboxings. I guess it's one of those inner conflicts. It's like the same as the top 10 lists, you know? Like, I don't like doing those top 10 lists and stuff like that. I just don't feel like it adds enough value. But people love it, and people are asking for it, so maybe I should just give in and give the people what they ask for. Just like you guys like unboxings too. Anyway, I've also got Wonderland's War over there, which is the bag builder territory control game from Druid City Games and Skybound Games. And fun is value. Well, you're not wrong, Chris. Fun is value, particularly in the world of board gaming. In fact, it's pretty much the only thing. But I have Wonderland's War over there as well, and I'm quite keen to play that. You were asking about what I'm looking forward to showing up, but I feel like I'm inundated with Kickstarters that have just arrived that I haven't actually had a chance to play yet. I've got another one down here that I was going to open up on the stream. Brian says, others do top 10s in unboxing, and that's why I like RSP and get full fun content. That said, this is a fun unboxing. T. Carter, unboxings are nice and chill. It's true. Speaking of which, I guess I'll be right back while I go get Euthia. Hold tight. I'll be right back. So this is the Euthia box. It's absolutely massive. It weighs a ton. I mean, this is also like the Legendary Edition. It actually, the Kickstarter came with 2 boxes this size. The other box just contained premium pieces and an organizer to go in this box. But this box was like half full of just like punch board, like 36 sheets of punch board. It was nuts. This is nuts. Oh god, don't get me started on and Trespass Odyssey as well, hackers. It's gonna be absolutely massive, like ridiculous. So it's just like an enormous box of stuff. Um, this is a Griffin card. I honestly not really sure what that's for. It's for the Griffin, which was a thing that they included. They also gave me card sleeves. It came with card sleeves and metal coins and everything. These are just all the rule books. It's huge. It's absolutely massive, and I'm really sort of keen to dive into it. I understand its actual format is a lot like I don't think it plays like Mage Knight at all, but I understand the format's a lot like Mage Knight. Like, it's not a campaign or anything like that. You pick a scenario, you work your way through the scenario. It's got solo, it's got cooperative, it's got competitive. There's a lot of literature here as well. Oh yeah, there's this actually. This is the achievements sheet, so you can like sort of earn different achievements and things like that. I don't know if this is just used for solo or not, but it's just kind of fun. These are all the different characters sheets. So these are all the different heroes it comes with. I'll show you them in a minute if you like, but these sheets all. So there's in this set there is 4, 5, 6 heroes. Oh yeah, and then this was one of the expansions. Came with its own sheet of stuff. So yeah, here are your heroes. So you got Kalia. She's some kind of like druid person, I guess. I mean, possibly not practical armor. I don't want to make that point. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. What I do like, the one thing I would say in defense of this person's armor is like the guy is also like not that much better. Like, it's a little better, I guess. So, I mean, at least they're both equal opportunities for objectification. She's some kind of cleric or perhaps a wizard. If you give me a wizard character, I will get fully behind it. So I hope she's a wizard. She looks cool. Here's an angry Scotsman. Oh, actually, no, the next character's the wizard for sure. So I would probably definitely play this character if we were to play. Because she I mean, there's also another actual badass wizard as well, but she looks really cool. Is this guy. We got a couple of badass wizards. So there's some boards here for tracking stuff. I don't know what. These are the elementals that came with it. Yeah, they came painted, which is pretty awesome. I mean, it's all shaded, right? But these ones are actually also shaded in different colors. Or maybe they're actually... No, the shading is different colors. Anyway. So that was one of the expansions, the Elemental Scenarios expansion. Like, a lot of the monsters... It doesn't have a lot of miniatures. Which is probably fine. It doesn't have a lot of miniatures. A lot of the expansions are just... or a lot of the miniatures, I think, are just represented by cards and stuff. Then there's just all these bags of cards that I sleeved up. And there's just so many cards and tokens and things. I'm going to see if I can find something actually sort of more meaningful to show you. So these are the lands. The lands are all kind of organized by using these symbols, but they're these, so you'll make like a deck of lands and then flip them over and they've got different stuff on them. But they came with all these felt bags for organizing it as well. So you see here, you'll be wandering around these lands and going on these different adventure things, I guess. It looks really cool. It's just like right up my alley. All of this stuff is totally my jam. So But look at this, like it came with an organizer as well. So these are all just more land tiles of different kinds that you'll be fishing out. But then it came with all these organizers, little organizers for all of these little tokens. I had to punch all of these out. It took forever to put this together. Like, the green bags are really nice. Somewhere there's a tray of miniatures, which is sort of what I'm looking for. These are the dice that come in the base set, or the retail edition, I guess, or maybe the basic pledge. But they also included a set, and also these coins. I don't know why I've kept them in here, because they sent me the fancy coins and fancy, I'm going to have a hell of a time putting this away. Fancy coins and fancy dice as well. So this is just full of metal coins. A little bag there as well. I mean, what's amazing to me actually as well was that I think this pledge all in was something like 120 or 130 quid, not including shipping, which felt really reasonable for what you got. Like, these are some kind of monster randomizer tokens. Like I said, I'm not going to pull everything out. I'm just going to... Under these cards are these wooden... not wooden, cardboard... This is the cardboard organizer. And thank God it came with this. I don't know if this is like an added thing or part of the all-in situation. But these are designed to go out on the table. And they're basically full of these tokens, which you'll sort of randomize. So what you do when you're setting up the game is you have this standing up on the table. You just pull this out, and all the tokens are there. And there's so many of these. And then, like, what you can do is, I think when you're instructed to discard them or reveal them, you just put them up on top like that, which is really a great system. I also don't know how you would deal with this without this. So if you didn't get this, yikes. And Brian says, seeing all these Overland tiles makes me think, have you ever played any of the Hexplore games? Brian, I would love to try Explore It. I don't have any of them, and I can't really justify any more fantasy adventure buying any more fantasy adventure games for my collection. But, if they send me one, I'm not going to be like, no. So I'd like to try Explore It, but I don't know. I don't know if they're doing any more campaigns, if they'd ever consider sending me a review copy, but I'd definitely like to check it out. Anything like sort of with land tiles and fantasy characters, exploring those tiles and doing combat with baddies, it's all right up my alley. Anyway, these are the different characters' tokens. So all of their tokens are organized into these trays. The trays are all color coordinated, so you've got like the purple hero, blue hero I just showed you. These are the ones for the black hero here. Black colored hero. Oh, there probably wasn't a black hero, was there? That might have been a bit of an oversight. Maybe something they can rectify with their new campaign, maybe. Anyway, look at these models. So they sent these models included as well, which is pretty cool. So you've got one for each hero, and then a few of, I guess, the more significant monsters are represented. So there's a dragon, a golem of some kind, and the griffin as well. And yeah, they shaded, these are all ink shaded as well, which I guess is a thing now, which I'm personally very happy about because I don't do any painting because I don't have the time. I'm not good at it. It takes me a long time. I mean, I'm okay, but it takes me a long time. Ah, Griffin. But yeah, it's a cool design. Where's the wizard I want to play as? Here she is. So she looks pretty cool. You guys, we have like 15 minutes. I was gonna end this stream a little ahead of midnight so I could get set up for the next stream. I really was worried about finding time to finding things to do for the hour or two that I'd scheduled for this stream, and now I'm like, oh no, we're out of time, and I've got a million boxes open. So yeah, I'm sorry. I think we're gonna have to start to wrap this up actually, but if you've enjoyed this sort of just chatting stream, I'm more than happy to do more of this kind of thing. And if you like it or you want to help support it, by all means, please consider taking a look at the Patreon. I said at the top of the stream, this had originally been an opportunity for me to start. Was originally going to just be a sort of a catch up actually with the patrons. I'd sort of originally intended to make this Patreon only stream, because, like I said, it was backwards. It was back. Basically, I'd always said right from the start of launching the Patreon, I didn't want to paywall any content. But then what I started doing was writing these huge long Patreon updates that took a lot of time. And now I've got so much work on at the moment, I don't have a lot of time to write those. So I then thought doing something like this would sort of work in lieu of that. And now I'm sort of like putting video content into the Patreon. Doesn't feel right, but at the same time also not giving them content when they're so generous with their support and everything also feels weird. I still haven't figured that out necessarily. But I guess what I'm saying is that right now, this wonderful content, if you're enjoying it, is all thanks to the people who can support the channel. So if you can, please consider even just giving $1 to support the show. That would be so helpful. But I appreciate that, especially right now, especially in this part of the world, things are so difficult. So it's probably global, really, to be honest, isn't it? So you know, everyone who's supporting the show and continuing to support the show, I'm so incredibly grateful to you all. Yeah, I hope you don't mind my socialist leanings here with the content, keeping it available to all, regardless of whether or not you're able to support it in a financial way. But just being here, showing up, taking part is also very, very nice and supportive. So it's nice to have you all here. And once again, thanks so much to all the patrons. And sorry we didn't get to look at Undaunted, but it's probably going to take me 10 minutes just to get this sorted out. And I don't want to be late for Elden Ring, I guess, when it launches. I mean, I'll be right back, and we can just keep chatting if you want. Like, I can't say anything meaningful about Elden Ring. I literally know nothing. Anyway, yes, Euthia will definitely be coming to the channel. What I'll try to do is stream it when the Kickstarter goes up. I'll try and do a solo stream of Tangarden while their Seasons Kickstarter is live. Then we can have a look at their... Kind of like we did with Lagrange. That's the one. That's what I was thinking of. The game of Lagrange I played with Michael. Obviously, that one was very sort of like... Hager says, you're going to die. Oh, yeah, I'm 100% going to die. I'm not good at, Souls-like games at all. I'm not good at them because I haven't played any of them. I mean, I might be a virtuoso. Chances of that are very slim, though. So I'm going to be like sitting there going, where's my hand of 3 cards? I thought this was a card game. Oh no, wait, that's the miniatures game. Anyway, thanks everyone so much for hanging out. I guess I will leave this running now while I put this away. But so if you have anything you want to say last minute, now's your chance. Because in a minute I'm going to run the credits. Oh god, this is like Lego. Help. 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 But yeah, we'll do some. We'll cover these Osprey games as well. We'll definitely play Drudge Dread. I have so many ambitions, you guys. I have so many ambitions for this channel and producing content. Sometimes I think I might be too ambitious. Nah, that's not possible, right? Not possible. Oh yeah, it did come with like little standees for everyone as well. I totally forgot to show them. I guess, yeah, this is if you didn't get the miniatures or whatever. You like little cardboard standees that are colored, then there's the dragon or whatever, and it's the dragon's looking. It's pretty neat. I just pulled one out. They're good. Hager says, going to be voting for Undaunted. I really want to play Undaunted. Everyone's been talking about how good Undaunted is, so I'm really, really pleased to have these two here to give to play with. Is Reinforcements just the solo mode, or is it like an expansion plus more stuff? Yeah, I'll definitely... I mean, the thing is, like, obviously the preference is... It's not a solo channel. The preference is always to play with Chris and Michael when I can, or with Ollie if he gets some free time back. But it's just I can stream solo much more. I can play much more often when I'm streaming solo. Like obviously, if the boys are available, I'll film with them or do something with them. But the solo content's largely in addition to that. Hager says it's the solo mode plus 2v2 scenario. Oh, 2v2 scenarios. Yeah, because it is a head-to-head game, typically, isn't it? Diff just says, I thought Ollie was behind the camera. Wait, you think we have a cameraman for this content? Are you kidding me? Look, if I had any money to actually hire someone, the very first hire would be an editor. Are you kidding me? No, Ollie's just very, very busy. Hopefully he will. He's very busy with work and all kinds of stuff, and his wonderful new partner. So hopefully we'll have a chance to have him back at some point in the near future. He hasn't said, no, don't talk to me ever again yet. So basically, I remain optimistic that we'll have him back one day. Okay. Well, that's boxed up, so I'm going to roll the credits, and then I guess I'll just be right back on the other stream, pretty much. And hopefully it'll actually work. I mean, it might just be more of this if it doesn't work. Brian says, I'm a fan of Conflict of Heroes, and the solo engine for that is awesome. I'd love Undaunted to have a similar good solo vibe. Because similar. Because simpler? I haven't had a chance to play Conflict of Heroes, Brian, but I would like... But I'm excited to check out Undaunted. I do like deck building as well. A lot. So, that would be good, wouldn't it? Was I playing recently that was a deck builder? I just played something recently that was a deck. Well, maybe it'll come to me and I'll let you all know in the next stream. Thanks for watching, everyone, and for supporting the show and everything. And maybe we'll have more of these casual chats moving forward as well, especially if there's stuff to look at. We didn't even get to go into the other box, and now you guys will never know what that Kickstarter was. And that's just, you'll just have to, Oh, it was June, Brian. It was June Imperium. Yeah, I've been playing Rise of Ix, like, a bunch. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Good guess. Very good guess. Yeah, you'll never know what this other Kickstarter was. Now you'll have to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you can find out what it is. Or come back on the next stream, and I'll tell you what it was. In just a moment. Bye for now, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. See you all in a second.